A persistent battle of wills as the United States imposes its latest sanctions on Iran. They were one of President Donald Trump's campaign promises to end what he claimed was a faulty international nuclear peace deal. That deal halted Tehran's nuclear weapons program in exchange for the country's international rehabilitation, but that appears to be over after Trump announced the curbs in May. And he's only raised the pressure more on Twitter.
The Iran sanctions have officially been cast. These are the most biting sanctions ever imposed, and in November they ratchet up yet to another level. Anyone doing business with Iran will not be doing business with the United States. I am asking for world peace, nothing less.
It's drawn a furious reaction from Iranian officials, especially Foreign Minister Javed Zarif.
Tantrums and cap tweets won't change the fact that the world is sick and tired of US unilateralism. Stopping US trade and killing 100,000 US jobs is fine with us, but the world won't follow impulsive tweeted diktats. Just ask the EU, Russia, China, and dozens of our other trading partners.
Iran insists it's been unfairly targeted despite rolling back its nuclear program, a fact confirmed by international experts. Tehran says the new sanctions are only being implemented because of pressure from Israel and have also received backing from Saudi Arabia. The sanctions are also contrary to European Union efforts to resolve the crisis. The EU says it will be business as usual with Tehran.
This blocking statute has now been updated, so the legislation in Europe protects European businesses from the effect of the US sanctions, indicating to these companies that they should comply with European legislation rather than with American one.
The fear of being punished by the US means many European companies have already begun pulling back. Like French car manufacturer Peugeot, it's now halted plans for expansion and may pull out completely. Market analysts say that's a loss for consumers and, more importantly, has led to job cuts that are likely to fuel growing unrest in the country. That's led to even more criticism of Trump's move, such as this from the Guardian newspaper. The sanctions on Iran are morally wrong and they won't work. But the criticism has been dismissed by US officials.
Consequences of the reduction in resources available to the regime, we think, is already manifest in some extent in constraints on the Quds force in Syria and Iraq, and perhaps also in its assistance to the Houthis in Yemen. And that's very important. We're going to do other things to put pressure on Iran as well, beyond economic sanctions.
Meanwhile, Iran has now taken the dispute to the International Court of Justice as the date for the full implementation of the sanctions approaches in November. So, is the leveling of sanctions morally wrong? And will international arbitration resolve the issue? Or could it end with yet another regime change in the Middle East? Shoaib Hasan, The Newsmakers.